Hello, brothers and sisters. Brother Trey here again. Here for Genesis chapter 10. Um, Here we go. Now, these are the generations of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan were Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families and their nations. And the sons of Ham were Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush were Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Raama, and Sabteka. And the sons of Raama were Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it was said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, and in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Asher, and builded Nineveh, and the city of Rehoboth, and Calah. And Rezin begat between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city. And Mizraim begat Ludim, and Anamim, and Lehabim, and Naphtuhim, and Pathrusim, and Casluhim, out of whom came Philistim, and Caphtorim. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zamorite, and the Hamathite. And afterwards were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar, unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom, and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem were Elam, and Asher, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. And the children of Aram were Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. And Arphaxad begat Selah, and Selah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Almodad, and Sheleph, and Hazarmaveth, and Jira, and Hadoram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan, and their dwelling was from Mesha, as there goes into Shapharah, the mount of the east. And these are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, and their lands, after their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations. But by these were the nations divided, and in the earth after the flood. I think it's pretty self-explanatory that it is the generations of Noah and his sons for this whole chapter after the flood. For the sons of Japheth, it continues and says, by these were in verse 5, it says, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided, and their lands, everyone after their tongue, and after their families and their nations. So after their own language. And then you had sons of Ham, continued. And then Cush begat Nimrod. He began Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Even Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord, and the beginning of the kingdom his kingdom was Babel. And we know in Babel, they erected the Tower of Babel, and in Babel, that's when God, confused their confused their languages. That's why they said divided lands, and they went after their own tongues. So, then in Babel, you heard of Babel. Then out of the land went forth Asher and builded Nineveh. You heard of Nineveh, especially later with Jonah. And Hivite, the Archite, the Avidite. So Gaza, that is a portion near Israel. Sodom and Gomorrah, you've heard of. Lands that were destroyed by God, and we are not there yet. Sons of Ham, after their family, after their tongues. Also Shem, also the father of all the children of Eber. Anything to point out here? Two sons. The earth was divided, and his brother was Joktan. These are Shem, after their tongues and their lances. These are the families of Noah after their generations and their nations. By these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. So there's not really much to say about that whole chapter besides it's the families of the sons of Noah and their generations and their nations and their tongues. Nations divided in the earth after the flood. Anyway, like I said, Babel. And I'm sure we're going to get to that soon about the confusion of the languages. So there's not much of that. And I will see you next time for chapter 11.